Hi, I'm Chelsea from Tech Diva Media. In this video, I'm going to talk about the content of your website and how to look at your content and organize it and prioritize it so that you create a really awesome user experience for the visitors that come to your site. Because while it might be nice to have a site that's designed well, if you have content that either is too much and too overwhelming or too disorganized, people can't find what they want, they're going to leave immediately. On the flip side, if you don't have enough content to show people really that you have value to offer, they'll also leave very quickly. So I'm going to talk about the three things, the three requirements of content on your website so you can very quickly assess what should stay, what should go, and what you might add to your content. So follow along. So this is quick and easy, but it may not necessarily be simple when you start to go through the content on your website. So to keep this quick and easy, I'd say all content must pass 3 tests. And this just comes from my experience and reading the experience of others. The tendency in many cases is to have so much content on your site. You want to share everything you can do, or all of your services, or all the past testimonials from clients for the past 20 years, or all of the product specifications and yada, yada, yada. There's a tendency to want to share everything you have on your website for people to convince them of just all the abundance of information you have to make yourself look like an authority. And while I can appreciate that where that's coming from, that actually dilutes the user experience. It actually makes it harder for people to find what they want on your site and makes them want to skip away because they can't find what they're looking for. So we want to look at these 3 things that your content, these tests that your content must pass whenever you're thinking about what to put on your new website or how to kind of revamp the site you have. And these are the 3: relevant, appropriate, useful. Those are 3 words to keep in mind. So first, relevant. Is the content relevant to the user and what they're looking for? And this is subtly different than saying, is the content relevant, like, is it relevant to what you offer or your products or your services? We're talking about what's relevant to the user. So you may have tons of information to share, but it may not be relevant to what they're looking for right now, given however they got to your website. So is it relevant to what they are looking for? The next test would be appropriate. So is the content written in a language that your users can understand? And does it give them the information that they want? So for example, if I'm on, not to pick on the government, but if I'm on a government website, for instance, they, especially like the tax websites, often they'll use terminology that I'm not familiar with. And I have a hard time figuring out what form I might need or where to go because it's in language that I'm not familiar with. It's in the terminology that they would use internally. So that can be something that on your own website you might use terms or different like buzzwords or something for your industry that someone in your industry is going to know. But your user may not necessarily know what some acronym means or how to find something if you're referring them to something. So just make sure that everything's written really easily in really easy language. And so it's really obvious what it is that you're offering, or in your navigation, it's really obvious for them to find what it is that they're looking for. And then finally, useful. Can the user take what you're sharing on your site and be able to act on it? Or can they benefit from having received that information in some way? If it's just facts and just on there just for the purposes of putting content on your site to look like you have a lot of content, while that may be helpful for Google SEO purposes sometimes, it takes away from the user experience. And that's kind of a pet peeve I have sometimes with SEO, is that people will add a bunch of stuff to their website, a bunch of content with keywords and all that for their SEO strategy, but it's not necessarily useful to the users. So if you're optimizing your user experience to improve your conversions and to really get leads for your business, you want to make sure that all of your content is actually useful, that there's something practical and valuable that the user can take away from having read your content. So I hope this information was useful to you. If you liked the video, I'd love a thumbs up. And please leave a comment below if there's something else you think is appropriate or something I left out or something you don't agree with. I'd love to hear from you. Really appreciate it. Thanks so much.